Hi everyone, welcome back to the Dev Tutor, where we make coding simplified and knowledge app. In our last video, we kicked off with the basics of Vue.js, and today we are going to dig a little deeper. We'll explore the key parts of Vue.js like components, data binding, and directives. By the end of this video, you will know how to build interactive user interfaces using these cool pages. So let's start with Vue components. Think of components as the building blocks of your Vue.js app. But what exactly is a component, you may ask? Simply put, a component is a reusable piece of code that makes part of your different user interfaces. Right? So it helps you break down your app into smaller and easy to manage parts, making your code cleaner and simpler to maintain. In Vue.js, components are made up of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So let me show you a quick example of a Vue.js. So let's jump onto it. So here you can see I am into my Mac and I have already opened up Code Sandbox. I'm using Code Sandbox to share you the code files very easily. You can find the link of this sandbox below in the description. And now let's jump into our code base, right? So here you can see I have already created a basic Vue.js application inside my code sandbox. And then I have already showed you yesterday that there is a source folder. And under the source folder, you can find an app.vue file. In the app.vue file, it is the entry point of the Vue.js application, right? Here you can see a script tag, template tag, and a style tag, right? Pretty straightforward, right? So if you see in the template part, what are we doing is we simply importing some logos. Here are the logos. Then we are just importing an hello world component with an attribute of white plus view. It is created by Vue CLI, right? So if I go under components, you can see the hello world. So for now, let's just disable this and see what happens. I save this, then you can see all the data from hello world is now gone. And if I remove this hello world import statement, it is no more imported in our main app.vue. So let's quickly create component. So first component will be our component name, right? So if I just create this component and if I type Vue, then it will not work because Volar is not installed in code sandbox. So just let me quickly create this script setup and then end script. We are using this setup attribute because we are using Vue 3, right? In Vue 3 we need to use this setup attribute to access Vue.js composition. So then let's create a style. The scoped attribute meaning all the style we'll put in here will be limited to this particular component scope only. So if I just enter here inside a div hello, and then if we just import this first component from components first component.vue, and then if I just replace everything from here, then you can see our component has been imported successfully. Isn't it easy? So now let's style our component a bit. So if we just hit H1, if I just do color red, then you can see once we save this, it will change the color to red, but it's not looking pretty good. So let's give it a green color, right? Now it is saved. But if you see, if I just put component called normal h1 inside that, welcome to the Dev Tutor. If I just hit this, you can see this h1 is not changed, has not changed its color. But if I suddenly remove this scoped tag, then you can see all the h1s are marked as green, right? So this is the use of scope tag. So it scopes down your all the styling to this component only. Next, let's talk about data binding, which is a powerful feature in Vue.js that allows you to synchronize your data with your user interface. Vue provides two main ways to bind data: one-way binding and two-way binding. One-way binding is where data flows from the component state to the user interface. This is typically done using the double curly braces interpolation syntax in your template. And two-way binding, on the hand, allows you to bind data both ways, from the state to the user interface and from the user interface back to the state. This is commonly used in forms with the V model directive of Vue.js. So let's dive right into my Mac again to see how it works. So let's start with data binding. First of all, in the script tag, we need to import ref method from Vue. So let me import that first. What is ref method? Ref method actually is a simple function to build reactive variables inside your Vue applications. So what I mean by that is, if I just take a variable here and call it message and give it ref with a value of like hello ref, and then if I just come over here and inside a p tag just put curly braces that I need this message placed here. As soon as I put this here, you can see we got to see hello ref, right? So first of all, this hello ref is reactive. I mean, whenever this message changes, suppose from your API you are getting this message, right? So whenever this changes, Vue automatically reload this component, update this hello ref message in the backend. So if I just do here hello ref variable, then you can see it will instantly push the message over here, right? So let's talk about two-way data binding. So if I just take a simple and then I add a V model directive, and in the V model directive we add this not curly braces to simply add the message, right? So you can see there is an input that the message is declared as the V model. So whenever I change this, you can see whenever I change this is changing, then you can see automatically this P is also changing. This is called two-way data binding. By that, what I mean is, whenever I am changing the value of this message, it is getting automatically replaced by Vue in the P tag. So this is all about one-way and two-way data bindings. Lastly, let's look at the directives in Vue.js. Directives are like special instructions in your code that tell Vue to do something with your HTML. Vue.js has a bunch of built-in directives that let you control the DOM in powerful ways. One of the most common directives is VE, which lets you show or hide elements based on a true and false condition. You can see a simple code in here in the screen. In this example, we are using VE to check if the user is logged in. If the is logged in is true, it shows a welcome message. If not, it asks the user to log in. You can see how easy is it to make your template more dynamic and interactive. Another powerful directive is vfor, which helps you loop through data and show a list of items. You can see example in here in the screen. Here we are using vfor loop to loop through an array of items and display each one in a list. The key attribute helps Vue.js to keep track of elements efficiently, which is super important for performance. Now let's head over to my Mac again to see this code in real life. Okay, so let's see the Vue directive in action. To see that, let's take an empty variable called is logged in. Now I am taking this ref method and passing its value to true. Now if I just add here is Vue is logged in, you can see the input tag is still over there. But let's just take another input tag with the type of checkbox and pass its V model to is logged. Now if you see, there is a checkbox which is already checked because we are passing the value true here. The checkbox will remain checked if the value is true, and checkbox will be unchecked if the value is false. So just let's just click on this checkbox. You can see the input tag is now gone. Why? Because we have changed the is status from true to false by clicking on this checkbox, right? So if I just click again on this, you can see this is working pretty perfectly. So next up, let's see the V4 in action, right? So if we just take our list of devs, right, and inside that if we just take a ref and pass an array with array of objects. Okay, in first object we are passing id 1 and then name is equal to Ritwik. In the second object we are passing id of 2 and the name is Biswas. Okay, now let's just take h6 tag, and inside the h6 tag what we can do, first of all, let's just first put this v4 and then we can declare dev in our list of devs. So what are we saying? That in our list of devs, each items of the array is a dev, right? And then we'll pass the key to dev.id. Now if we just here enter dev.name, then you can see in the first point we are getting Ritwik and in the second point we are getting Biswas. If we add more objects here, right, if we just add 3 and we just add like name something like say Tom Cruise, right, then you can see in the third row we are getting Tom Cruise. Remember always this key will be unique in a v4 loop. So if I just pass suppose id of 3 again with like name of Tony Stark, then you can see it is showing here pretty perfectly, but the thing is Vue is confused in the backend and it will cause immense loss to your application in production environment. So remember always this key variable will be unique for each iteration of the array. To sum it up, today we covered some essential Vue.js concepts like components, data bindings and directives. These are the tools you will use to build interactive and dynamic web apps. I'll encourage you to try these out in your own projects and see how powerful Vue.js can be. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the Dev Tutor for more tutorials on Vue.js and other web development related topics. If you have any questions or need more help, drop a comment below and I'll be there for you. And for a full written tutorial on today's topic, please visit thedevtutor.com. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.